Hello and welcome to the latter half of the month energy update. I just wanted to kind of be a little bit more casual. I'm holding the phone right here in my hands. Not going to do a card pull because I feel I don't even feel that we need the validation from the cards. The energy feels very authentic, very pure, very tapped in right now. And for those that might follow me on Instagram, I did a mini update today, and I'm just going to kind of follow that up with a longer one. So it appears outside in the collective we have a lot of dis-ease, a lot of distrust, a lot of chaos, and I want to encourage you with all that I can, with all the lightness within, to focus on yourself and to focus on the peace that you cultivate from within, and the authenticity that comes from within when you are grounded and you are anchored in your energy. If there was a time to be anchored more than ever, to be anchored into your energy, this would be it. So that being said, we are coming off of a powerful solstice. For me personally, and I don't ever, I'm not a person that really gets sick or feels sick. There were multiple points last week where I felt myself getting sick, and I was really being called to rest, to spend time, quiet time in bed, cozying with a book. And I knew that that was really important for me to be able to receive whatever, solstice energy was coming through, that my body needed to be in that place of stillness. So that might be something that you can relate to, that you also may have been going through, or maybe that's something that you are currently going through, or maybe that was something that you already felt, a couple weeks ago, and the solstice energy just hit you a little early. And if you didn't feel it at all, that's okay too, because everything's happening to us in the time that it needs to happen for that reason. So that being said, as we round out this month and move into the energy of July, which I will do the July update post 4th of July, so I'll do it more towards the end of the first week. So we're in the 2-week time frame for these energy updates. Right now is really just a time, as much as possible, though it might feel very extroverted with the sun out and parties, and there could be barbecues and fireworks. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that and the connection that comes with that. However, just take some time to balance that and temper that with just some beautiful alone time. And you can actually be around people and be alone. So you could go to the beach with a really good book and be around the energy of people, but be spending that time with yourself. Or if you know that there's always a temptation to socialize when you are around people, you could find a different way to connect. Maybe it's just a nature walk, or maybe you have a quiet space in your yard where you could spend it privately, or maybe you just want to be inside your air-conditioned home and read your book, or watch a show, or make a nice salad, or curate a beautiful smoothie. This is the time to really go within and nourish yourself. There's a lot of rebirthing right now. The first quarter of the year, especially as we went into February and March, were really, really dense energies, and we started to pull out of that density in April, a little more in May. It's kind of like crawling out of a hole. I will say that June energetically was a very intense month. It was intense for what I saw here and the work that I do. It was also intense for what I was feeling, and I was experiencing a lot of exhaustion in my body, not necessarily from what was going on around me, but from the density of what my body was calibrating in accordance with the external environment. So when I say that, I know that was a sort of a channeled message, so I'm trying to make sense of what that was actually. But that sometimes we are feeling, as humans, we can feel density, but we're really light beings, and we're light on the inside. And sometimes when we can be very much in the lightness of our beings, and we can feel that lightness like when we're in our dream space, or when we're napping, or we're on an airplane, or when we are getting a massage, or having energy work, or just in flow with an artistic creative activity. And other times we just feel the density of being a human, like being in hot weather outside, being in traffic, and things of that nature. So right now it's like we're calibrating inside, but we also have to modulate to the density outside. And we are very much, I feel, as a collective, going into a very soft phase this summer. That does not necessarily mean there will be softness reflected in our external environment, but increasingly we are learning how to modulate that and stay in our own energy and stay in our own body, so that as the chaos around us, or as we ourselves individually may be exposed to a stressful, traumatic, chaotic experience, we're learning more and more how to access that lightness and the light being inside us, to calibrate that in a way that we don't become the frequency of the things happening outside of us. I'll say that one more time. So as we are being, some of us, more exposed to the harshness, the density, or to traumatic events, or maybe it's just watching the news and seeing what's going on. It doesn't have to necessarily be happening just directly to us. It could be happening to someone that we know, or just people at large. We are learning how, as we become more grounded in our light beingness, how to calibrate that density so that we don't become that. So that might not be the exact same sentence said back to back, but it's the same message, so that we're learning how to be more alignment with all of our chakra centers, and the things that are happening around us might be testing us to see how grounded we are in and we each have a home frequency. All right, so that was a lot of information in itself. When people come in to receive energy work, I help clients get grounded in their home frequency. So oftentimes, for example, when you leave a session, you're left feeling euphoric or light, or perhaps you're feeling some density of some emotions that came up. But overall, you're learning how to calibrate. It's like a needle on a car, like empty to full, but you're learning how, like, okay, when your tank gets empty, you're learning how to fill it up. And so you're not constantly like zooming in your car and burning out and emptying your gas tank. You also learn how to use features like cruise control on your car so that you don't burn out all your gas. It's kind of the same way with like calibrating the density in this world. We're learning how to maybe operate a little bit more on cruise control, so we're not taking on all of the density in the world that really does not have a lot to do with us internally. So it's not your responsibility to process what's going on in the outside world, only though as much as it is in accordance with your process. So for example, if you are somebody who is working through scarcity mindset, or fear of abandonment, or lack of safety, and you're being triggered by world events that make you feel that more intensely, then that is part of your process. That's something that we can either work on together in here, or you find the tools to work through that, and you diligently acknowledge the feelings that are coming up so they can pass and move through your body, so that you can get back into your natural home frequency. So there's a lot of alignment with that happening. A lot of you have already been doing that work so much these past like 5 to 6 months. So now the world is, there might be some more density, more intensity, more chaos, turmoil, disorder coming in. It's not affecting you internally as much because you know how to stay in accordance with your own rhythm. So that's a really important piece of information. I don't really think I need to pull, I don't feel I need to pull a card on that at all. If you have any questions about this, or you want to reach out and have a session and work on this internally in your own process, you know how to find me. I will be back here in 2 weeks with another update, and I hope that you have a safe and prosperous, peaceful, whatever you do to celebrate 4th of July or the holiday week. Do what feels natural for you. Honor yourself. And if you don't feel like being around people and your body is telling you you feel safer just being home or being quiet or just doing a tiny meal or takeout, whatever that is, honor that, okay? There's no FOMO anymore, all right? This is listening to yourself and going within and honoring what your body is asking for and being in your most authentic space and clearing out all the noise. You don't have to answer your phone every time it rings. You don't have to answer every text message in real time. You don't have to be on social media every day of the week. You can clock out of work after a certain hour, after 5 or 6 o'clock, and nourish yourself in the evening. You can take a morning on the weekend and sleep in for an hour or two, and the world will not stop. But honor your rhythms, honor the points of you that are being called right now to rest, and really honor this rebirthing and this rebooting that's coming in with the solstice, because I do feel like as we go into the fall months, there's going to be a little more pickup with the energy, especially in terms of manifestation and creativity. I feel like some of us are in that phase of I feel like some of us are entering that phase of creativity, but the creativity is going to come from playing right now and just being and just having fun. So I'll see you all in a couple weeks, and happy end of June and early July.